Hi, I'm Lisimba Patilla, and this is my swim story. It was 2013. I had just started a new job, and I was really focused on getting back in shape. I had been married at this time for like 7 years, and I had gained a lot of weight, and I was over 200 pounds. And I just started running, and I was trying to keep myself motivated. Told my uncle about this, and he recommended I read a book called The Longest Run by Matt Long. And considering I had just started a new job and I was flying out to Reno, Nevada, I said, you know what, I'll start reading this book for the airplane ride. And I did, and I started reading it. And Matt Long was a triathlete. He was from New York. He was an Ironman triathlete, and he got in a horrible accident that should have killed him. But he survived, and he survived because he was in such good shape. And that really spoke to me. And not only did he survive, he went on to complete a marathon, and he should have never even walked again. And not only that, by the end of the book, this guy had completed an Ironman triathlon. This spoke to me. This was very inspirational for me. And I had read this book cover to cover in a matter of 7 days during my whole trip to Reno. When I got back home, got off the plane, drove home, kissed my wife, the first words out of my mouth was, "Hey, baby, I'm going to be a triathlete." My wife softly, very softly, chuckled to herself and said, "How are you going to do that? You can't swim." Not only you can't swim, you are definitely afraid of pool water. You don't let the water splash in your face. You don't let rain splash on your face. And I've never heard of anybody overcoming swim anxiety. And she was right. And she was referring to when I was a child, 12 years old, and I was in a swim class, and I went under. Friends had to save me. And since that time, man, I was just peppered with all kind of negative feelings towards deep water. But what I told her is, I promise you, I'll figure it out. I always will. I'll figure it out. And even though I had been scared at that time, I knew that if I just focused and stayed with it and not quit, that I would figure this out. The reason I wanted to learn how to swim because I recognized as I was heading into my 40s and having a career of playing college football, running college track, playing a lot of rec basketball throughout my 20s and even some of my 30s, I knew that my body could not handle the wear and tear of, going back and forth and the hard cutting and everything that goes with playing basketball or any other jumping sport. So I knew that to be a triathlete, swimming is a non-impact, cycling is non-impact, running is impact, but they got really good shoes now. So I knew that if I was going to stay in shape for the rest of my life once I completed a triathlon, I needed to be doing something that wouldn't be that hard on my body. So that was the role that triathlon was going to play in my life. And I also wanted, deep inside of me, honestly, I wanted to know that I got over fear. I didn't want to live my life knowing that I was just fearful of dying, fearful of drowning from one incident that happened in my life. And I wanted to be a role model, not only to my wife, but also to my kids, that, you know what, you can swim and you can learn if you just put your mind to something and focus on it. That night, I didn't even put up my clothes. I got started researching how to swim. And I went at that time through YouTube. It was 2013, Wikipedia, all the local swim gurus, swim professionals, former Olympic swimmers, lifelong swimmers, and of course, the American Red Cross trained swimmers at the YMCA, at the Parks and Recreation Centers, universities and college, and even a Friends Aquatic Center who had an American Red Cross trained swim instructor. And guess what happened? No matter who it was, where we was, or what they were trying to teach me, one thing is for sure. after over 18 months of trying to learn how to swim, I had zero skills on 5 to 6 different tries with instructors. Plus, I went to the pool anyway and tried to figure it out and experiment on my own. But I had no skills. And again, after 18 months, I had gotten nowhere with swimming. In the book, The Longest Run, the thing about Matt Long is he just would not quit. He loved being active in his middle age. He loved looking great and having a great physique and being active and going out and competing in triathlons and with his buddies. So him overcoming these crazy odds was built around the fact that he had built a lifestyle for himself. So when he came back and not let alone completed a marathon, which is crazy, that's 26.2 miles, he went on to finish another Ironman triathlon, which is 140.6 miles of swimming, biking, and running. That was incredible to me. And the fact that he wouldn't quit and he kept looking for resources to get him to what he wanted to do spoke to me. It spoke to me because that type of perseverance that he displayed in his story spoke to me as a warrior to warrior, knowing that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the triumph. And at this point in my life, the challenge seemed so large that I had no idea how I would overcome fear and actually learn anything about swimming. So there were more challenges than just dealing with the fact that internally I was afraid and nervous as a hooker in church. What made things even worse was the people closest to me at that time. And I'm not referring to my wife or my kids, because my wife was very supportive after I first revealed to her my plans of becoming a triathlete. After that, she was very supportive, always, there to, give me some positive reinforcement. But what really hurt was the cousins, the friends that you're close to, all these people that, you guys been in the business world together, corporate sales together. You guys are in a rat race together, trying to get that next $100,000 salary job and everything. Like, these were the guys that were negative to me. These were the people who felt like pursuing learning how to swim was a bad idea and that I was wasting my time. And they started treating me in a way as though like I was wasting my time trying to overcome swim anxiety. And even worse than that, just another cherry on top of everything, is that I had imposter syndrome myself. And imposter syndrome, although I believed in myself, is always telling you you're not good enough, that you're not ready. You still got a ways to go in order to get to where you want to be. So that, and coupled with the fact that I'm afraid and the fact that I'm not getting a lot of positive reinforcement from other people who I'm speaking to really often, made it hard to believe that a 40-year-old guy could learn how to swim and learn how to do something as complex as swimming that I had never successfully done before. And with my friends in the time believing that my life was too busy and, old dogs don't learn new tricks, it was a very difficult time to get my mind around how the heck I would overcome swim anxiety. And I promise you, at this time, the clock was ticking. I mean, we were getting into a year and a half, almost rounding about to 2 years, and I still hadn't found that needle in the haystack. But I just always remember what my dad told me: winners never quit and quitters never win. At this point, I'm around about day 600 or so, and I am very, very beat down about swimming. I have been consistent. I have been disciplined, diligent, and I would just keep coming back to the pool, and I could not find any success. But what I did know is that if I didn't learn how to swim, I would not be keeping my word to myself that I was going to learn how to swim. I wouldn't be keeping my word to my wife that I would learn how to swim. I wouldn't be keeping my word to, at this time, my 2 young daughters that I was going to learn how to swim. So the feeling of being a failure at the pool was a lot less than quitting in the eyes of the people that I love the most. So the feeling that I could not get these swimming techniques and failing at it at the shallow pool again, it just didn't weigh out to me. I would rather go fail than to say I didn't try. So I decided to go to the pool one more time rather than quit. And this particular day, God answered my prayer. I originally went to the pool to meet up with the master swim team and another coach who was going to teach me how to overcome my swim anxiety. And again, he failed miserably, but he did tell me, if you don't overcome your fear, you're not going to learn how to swim. And he was right. But when master swim practice was over, after I watched people swim again, I watched a group of people walk in with a bunch of scuba gear. I mean, they had the tanks on with them. They had, wetsuits. They had all the fancy face masks, and it was really cool to just see them walk in. So I waited and I watched them go through their scuba instruction and everything. And I thought it was just a fantastic thing. And I even thought at the time, like, wow, once I learn how to swim, maybe I can get some scuba lessons myself. So once I saw that their class had ended, I walked over and introduced myself to the instructor. And I told him, I said, hi, my name's Lisimba Patilla, and I have swim anxiety. And I just wonder, can you help me? The guy's name was Mark McCutcheon. Mark McCutcheon was a veteran of the military. And he looked at me and he said, yes, I can. And I was almost starstruck, like, really? How? And what he said to me is that when he went into the military, he went into the Navy and he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. And after he got through basic training, he wanted to go through what they call the BUDS training in order to get into the Navy SEALs Academy. But to do that, you had to swim 100 meters, and he had swim anxiety. However, the military provided him with instructions and a system to overcome swim anxiety and learn how to swim. And guess what? In 90 days, he learned how to swim and made it into BUDS training. But what he also told me is that he didn't make it through BUDS training and he didn't become a Navy SEAL. So when he got out of the military, he decided to help people with scuba diving because it was his love and it's what he really cared about. Mark and I talked for probably an hour. They started to cut the lights off in the pool and we were still talking. Gave me his number. We kept talking. He gave me a full systematic view of how the military approached how to learn to swim. And not only that, he told me the thing that was the biggest epiphany, the biggest aha at the moment. He said, it's not like they send an instructor there to teach you how to overcome swim anxiety. It's 100% do it yourself. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, we have to do it ourselves. He said, once you get into BUDS Academy, that's different. They help you with some more complex types of swimming. But in order to learn how to swim 100 meters, this is information they just give you, some videos, some how-tos, and a systematic approach so that you can learn to swim. I was like, oh, wow. Well, if that's how it is, then I know I can learn how to swim. And from that point on, I knew that all I had to do is listen to everything Mark told me and come up with my own system to learn how to swim. Mark shared with me that not only is it a 100% do-it-yourself system, he also shared with me that the military, what they do give you is a lot of positive reinforcement, and that the system that they give you is almost a system within a system within a system. So they teach you how to breathe independently. They teach you how to float independently. They teach you how to use your arms and your legs when you're swimming independently. They teach you how to control your body position independently. And not only that, they have a systematic approach that takes into account different swim aids and swim equipment to make it easier to perform the different swim drills they give you that is done in very, very shallow water. So once I had all this information, I had everything I needed to build my own system. And I built it, and I was ready to test it out on yours truly. Over the next few days, I spent time at home putting together my framework where learning to breathe, I broke breathing down just like he He told me they did it in the military. I broke floating down and balance, or using your arms and legs to move in the water, your body position. I broke it down to very, very, very simple drills. And these frameworks were not complex at all. And what I found is that when I isolated, limited the breathing drills and exposure in the pool, it helped me avoid feeling like I was suffocating learning to breathe, because by the time I put my face in the water, I had been practicing how to breathe with my face out of water the correct way. So by removing the pool, I learned how to breathe with the water skill at home, right here. And then once I felt safe and in control with my face in water, I took the next framework that I had on learning how to float, added some swim equipment in with it, and went to the pool. And in very shallow water, I started learning how to float, and I started learning how to use my limbs in water, and I started working on my body position, all in shallow water using swimming equipment. I also built a framework for assessing where I was, because I wanted to make sure I was getting better and that I was very much in control of every element of this process, because otherwise I would freak out and be feeling the same way I had felt a year prior and 28 years before that. So I wanted to make sure the system kept me on track, but didn't move me too fast so that I triggered some anxiety or a panic attack. And it worked. Within 90 days of working the program I created, well, I won't tell you. I'll let you see for yourself.
Run, you got to be able to pedal a bike, and you got to be able to swim. You better be good at all three of them, just like all those triathletes that are participating this weekend in Cleveland. One of them, though, took a pretty unusual journey to the starting line. Lisimba Patilla is competing with many other athletes this weekend, but his story, pretty different. You see, it's not common that at a bike, run, and swim competition, an athlete would have just learned to swim a few years ago. But not everyone has a story like Patilla's. For him, his fear of swimming started in 7th grade.
I just wanted to hang out with my friends who were really good swimmers, and we had like a swim test, and we had to tread water. I had never tread water in my life, but I wanted to be looked at as an athlete, even though at that time I had never played any organized sports. So I tried, and I jumped in the water with everyone, and we had to tread water for 4 minutes. And instead of treading water like I know how to do now, I ran in place as fast as I could, in the middle of the pool, the deep end, full out sprint, going nowhere in the water, and it worked for 2 minutes. So I'm underwater, I'm drinking plenty of pool water, I'm panicked all out. A couple of my friends got me to a pole.
Patilla was able to survive with a little help from his friends, but the memory of that day never left. In fact, it would be about 30 years before he actually learned to swim. Getting over that mental hurdle was the toughest part.
That fear was something that I was ready for, that challenge, that I wasn't going to turn my back on fear. I was going to face it, and we were going to fight. And that challenge wasn't going to end until I won.
A lot of his motivation came from his 2 kids.
I spent many days on beaches with my daughters, and we only let the water hit our feet because we're all afraid to go deeper into the water. But over the past 2 years, we all go into the water. My youngest daughter, my oldest daughter, my wife, obviously myself, we go swimming, you know, and that's a huge plus in my life. That gives my heart a lot of good feeling that, you know what, I helped lead my daughters into a place that I wasn't fortunate enough to be led to when I was a young man. So it definitely helps drive. That makes me feel good to know that, you know what, my daughters comfortably swim now because their father got into the water and showed them that it's something that can be done. So when I started Try 720 Cheat Codes about 9 months ago and put together all of my frameworks that I had been using over the past 9 years and made them available to the public, the first thing I did was gave them to people so that they can test them out for themselves. And, well, here's the results.
So I was going on a family vacation to the Bahamas, and I was really excited, but there was one lingering concern that I had, and that was my lack of swimming skills. The thought of being the only one not being able to snorkel and witness the beauty of the coral reef was kind of daunting. So, determined to overcome this obstacle, I stumbled across Lisimba Patilla's videos on YouTube, and it turned out to be the catalyst for an incredible swim journey. Lisimba's approach to teaching swimming was not only informative, but also incredibly reassuring. His videos conveyed a genuine passion for helping beginners like me navigate the waters anxiety free. So, inspired by the progress I witnessed through Lisimba's content, I soon discovered the Try 720 cheat codes anxiety free swim instructions too. Try 720, in collaboration with Lisimba Patilla, provided a comprehensive and structured approach to swimming that resonated with my novice level. The combination of Lisimba's expert guidance and cheat codes step-by-step instructions made the learning process enjoyable and effective. And within a surprisingly short period, I found myself swimming confidently. And as the vacation approached, my anxiety transformed into anticipation. So thanks to Lisimba Patilla and Try 720, I not only joined my family in snorkeling, but had an absolute blast exploring the underwater wonders of the Bahamas. I can't express enough gratitude to Lisimba for sharing his experience and to Try 720 for creating a program that caters to beginners like me. Learning to swim became an empowering and joyful experience that enhanced my vacation in ways I never imagined. If you're a beginner looking to unlock the world of swimming, Lisimba Patilla's videos and Try 720's cheat codes are the perfect companions on your journey to aquatic.
Having not grown up around pools and beaches, the idea of swimming was a foreign concept to me. But as I hit my 40s, I found myself facing the reality that I couldn't run like I used to. So my doctor suggested that I find some alternative ways of staying fit that were easier on my body. That's when I found out about Try 720 cheat codes, anxiety-free swimming instructions. And it turned out to be the perfect solution to stay fit, but also helped me dive into a whole new world of aquatic fitness. At the age of 43, learning to swim seemed like such a big challenge, but Try 720's approach broke down those mental barriers that held me back. The anxiety-free swim instructions provided a structured and supportive environment just for beginners like me. The step-by-step guidance allowed me to progress at my own pace and build confidence with each session. What started off as a fitness journey soon became a daily source of fun and accomplishment. In just 35 days of following Try 720 cheat codes, I went from swimming like a novice to as much as 600 yards a day. The impact-free nature of swimming not only provided the fitness benefits that my doctor recommended, but also became a holistic wellness practice that I genuinely look forward to doing. Try 720 not only taught me how to swim, but opened up a whole world of possibilities for how to maintain a healthy lifestyle. The sense of achievement I felt after each swim session is unparalleled. If you're someone seeking an impact-free fitness solution or just want to embrace a new chapter of wellness, Try 720 cheat codes, anxiety-free swim instructions is the perfect gateway to a healthier and more vibrant you.
Water has always been a source of fear for me, particularly the idea of putting my face in the pool. It felt like I was always suffocating, making any attempt to swim a panic-filled experience. This fear was a significant obstacle until I discovered Try 720 cheat codes. It's anxiety-free swim instructions. A game changer. Not only transformed my relationship with water, but also turned me into a pretty confident swimmer within a short amount of time. Try 720 understood the unique anxieties I faced, and the anxiety-free swim instructions provided a structured and supportive path to overcoming them. The step-by-step guidance was designed with precision, catering to my fear of suffocation and gradually building my comfort in the water. Within just a week of consistent practice, I'd learned how to breathe comfortably in the pool, a feat I thought was impossible. The guidance provided by Try 720 was so effective that within 2 weeks, I found myself floating effortlessly. The transformation continued, and by the 30th day, I proudly swam my first 25 yards in the pool. Try 720 cheat codes didn't just teach me how to swim. It helped me conquer a fear that had haunted me for years. The structured approach, tailored to address my specific anxieties, made the learning process not only achievable, but surprisingly enjoyable. If you're someone like me who has felt suffocated in the water, Try 720 is the key to unlocking a world of aquatic possibilities. It turned a suffocation-prone non-swimmer into someone who now confidently glides through the water with ease.
Since overcoming swim anxiety in 2015, I've went on to win my age group in so many triathlons. I've not only done that, I've completed a half Ironman. I'm a 3-time USA triathlon age group national qualifier. And 9 months ago, when I learned a stat that 54% of the United States adults can't swim, 64% that can swim can't save their lives in open water or in a deep pool, I had to do something about it. And now that Try 720 cheat codes is available to the public, and we've got it tested not only on myself, but on other people, and now other adults are having the same success that I've had, and they're starting to complete 50, 100, 200 meters in the pool. I'm like, well, let's give this away free again. I want to challenge you to make the transformation of your life and overcome your swim anxiety and get that opportunity to meet that best version of yourself, the one that can swim, the one that has no fear, the one that does really what they want to do in this life when they want to do it. No questions asked. That's the Learn to Swim Challenge. Will you become a cheat code swimmer? Complete your first 25 yards in 90 days. It could be 100 days. It could be 360 days. It doesn't matter. We're going to be with you every step of the way to get over your swim anxiety and start swimming and start enjoying life on a far different level. So click the link. Let's get started. Let's get started for free. Get into the curriculum. Learn everything you can. It is so much of a larger world. 70% of the world, our earth, is covered in water. You should know how to swim. Learn to Swim Challenge is for you. Let's get started. You got this. I got your back. We can get this done. I'll see you soon.